It's that time of year when we're waiting for those exam results to find out what is going to happen with the rest of our lives, or at least it feels like that. That anxious feeling, you feel sick to the pit of your stomach, you can't sit still, you're probably not sleeping, you just want those results in. Maybe you get them by text, or by a phone call, or by a letter, but it reminds me, when I got my exam results, it came by letter, and I remember waiting for that postman. The tires on the drive with the gravel crunching, and the rattle of the letterbox as that letter came through. Grabbing hold of the letter, I remember just thinking, oh my goodness, what is going to be inside this letter? And I scanned this letter to see if I'd gotten in, and I waited for it, and I realised I hadn't. I couldn't believe it. I hadn't got in to the place I wanted to go. The results weren't good enough, and my school appealed my mark twice, and the same result came back every time. I basically hadn't made the cut, and as a result, I couldn't get my place in university. I decided to go for my second choice. My second choice was coming to Aberdeen, and that was very much a temporary decision in my opinion. I thought, this is it, I'll go back to my plan A. But you know what? God had a different plan for me. It's never nice to feel like you don't fit in, that you're not loved, accepted, or that there's a place for you. And maybe it's not exam results, maybe it's not getting into college, maybe it's something else. Maybe it's more personal to you. Maybe it's your accent, your family, your background, how you act, or what people think. And as a result, we can be so tempted to try to fit in. We change who we are. Maybe that's how you dress, maybe that's how you talk. Maybe it's what you choose to share about who you are and the stuff you try to protect and not share. And that might make us feel like we're accepted and we belong for a short period of time. But underneath, actually, we still feel rejected, we still feel not good enough. So do you know what, guys? You need to not do it. I know that sounds so hard, I know that maybe sounds crazy, but don't try to fit in just to be liked by somebody. There's a place in the world for everyone, in a relationship with God. God values us and loves us because He created us in His image. By choice, we are not a mistake. And even when the world around us maybe doesn't feel like it has a place for you or accepts you, we can go to God and learn that we are loved and accepted. It's not until I learn what God says about me that I can start to learn to value myself as He does. So how do we do that? How do we change how we maybe feel about ourselves and the place we hold in the world? I guess there's three things that comes to mind for me personally. The first thing is this: don't try to fit in with those people that you want to be friends with, even if you really want to be popular. Find a group of people who can love and accept you just as you are. A great place for that is the church. If the church is walking out its God-given purposes, it is a place that we can find acceptance and our true meaning to belong in a family that loves us. The second thing is this: remind yourself of what God says. And the way we do that is by opening our Bibles and reading what He says about us. Do you know, every single thing that God says about you is something that is affirming and is building you up. So get into the Word of God. And the third thing is this: if you are struggling, don't struggle on your own. The only way I've learned to love and accept myself is by going to people who I love and trust, and who importantly were able to speak God's truth over me. No matter where you are in life right now, there is a unique place for you in the world. There is a role that only you can play, that God has created you for, no matter how you feel maybe right now. Looking back on my exam results, at the time it felt like the worst thing I'd ever gone through. I felt like my whole future had hung in the balance and was away all of a sudden. Do you know, I'm actually quite happy my exam results were what they were and that I failed that exam. Why? Because it meant that I came to Aberdeen. Aberdeen was a place I met my husband. I now have 2 children who I dearly love. And do you know what? Diamond Scotland might have never existed if I'd gone to Ireland. Sometimes we can't see why something's happened. Sometimes we can't see, I guess, the whole plan ahead of us. But God has a purpose for us. And it's in a relationship with Him, where we trust Him, that we know that He holds our life in His hands and that His way is a good way.